Typically, artifacts left by prehistoric humans are damaged, buried, and difficult to locate, but occasionally we come upon something that causes us to reevaluate our position in history. These discoveries blow our minds away. This video will share a few bizarre archaeological discoveries that will blow minds away. Remember to subscribe to our channel. Let's begin. Sandbyborg Massacre. Why wasn't the human skeleton buried when archaeologists discovered it on the floor of a home at a Swedish site from the 5th century? They next discovered another, then another. All exhibited evidence of having been killed with swords, axes, and clubs, followed by abandonment until the dwelling's walls gave way on them. So far, they have discovered the bones of 26 victims, a half-eaten fish, coins, and jewelry, but they have not discovered any clues about the attackers or the nature of their rage. 78,000 years of human occupation. Human artifacts dating from the Middle Stone Age up to the present day can be found in Kenya's Panga Yasedi network of caverns. According to Michael Petralia of the Max Planck Institute for the Science of Human History, who spoke to Haaretz, the cave's main chamber, which is more than 1,000 square feet in size, could have comfortably housed hundreds of people, and its location in a tropical forest has benefited from a relatively stable climate. In contrast, other regions of Africa have experienced droughts. His team discovered large stone tools from the first inhabitants. More advanced arrowheads and blades appeared around 67,000 years ago. Injured zoo animals in ancient Egypt. Before the construction of the pyramids hundreds of years ago, Hierakonpolis was one of the most important villages along the Nile River. Its affluent inhabitants displayed their status by raising exotic creatures. Animals discovered during a cemetery excavation include 2 elephants, numerous baboons, and a hippo. But it wasn't all treats and cuddles. The skeletons of some baboons and the hippo revealed evidence of healed bone fractures. Scientists believed they were harmed when captured or restrained, but we know they were held captive since the bones could only have healed while the animals were shielded. Kids with disabilities are buried like royalty. A few hours' drive east of the modern city of Moscow, at a location called Sunghir, hunter-gatherers interred several people 34,000 years ago, among them 2 teenage boys. The boys were buried together with 10,000 mammoth ivory beads, more than 20 armbands, about 300 pierced fox teeth, 16 ivory mammoth spears, carvings, antlers, and human fibulae across the chest of each child. The boys died between 10 and 12, and both showed signs of disability. On the other hand, some adult burials contained no riches at all, while others included few. Advanced Stone Age tools in India. Over 90% of contemporary humans are descended from a tiny genetic proof indicates that Homo sapiens fled Africa about 60,000 years ago. The group's success may have been attributed to improved stone tools, such as fine stone blades that could be utilized on spear tips rather than large hand axes. However, a site in southern India, where prehistoric human habitation has yet to be well explored, reveals that people lived there more than 200,000 years ago and used sophisticated tools. Unknown but intriguing is whether this indicates that distinct hominids independently developed similar advancements or that human ancestors fled Africa in waves. Terracotta warriors. Workers constructing a well in China in 1974 came across a life-size soldier statue, but they had no idea what else was hidden beneath the ground. Since they began their excavations, archaeologists estimate that there may be as many as 8,000 clay statues. There are also life-size terracotta horses and chariots. The majority are soldiers, each with a unique facial expression and set of weapons. The project was built as a tomb for Qin Shi Huangdi, who ascended to the throne in 246 BC. Chin is interred in a tomb at a location that hasn't been excavated yet due to uncertainties regarding its stability. Still, investigations along its edge have turned up statues of dancers and acrobats. Tiny human or alien? A 6-inch tall, pointed-headed skeleton was discovered organically mummified in the Chilean Atacama Desert in 2003. Scientists have now been able to sequence and study the skeleton's DNA, dispelling many claims that it was an alien specimen, even though it had bone density typical of a 6-year-old despite its diminutive size. The female mummy, Ata, is revealed to be human. She was primarily descended from native Chileans, but also had some European ancestry. Researchers discovered 7 distinct abnormalities in her growth-related genes, but they are unsure which one led to her skeletal deformity. Antikythera mechanism. Around 2,000 years ago, a Greek ship capsized off the coast of Antikythera and lay on the ocean floor until it was discovered in 1900. The thing featured numerous layers of brass gears carefully fitted together and built inside a wooden box. As archaeologists combed through the relics recovered from the wreck, they came across this object and needed help figuring out what to make of it. A science historian discovered that it was possible to predict the positions of the planets and stars in the sky by date 50 years later. Since then, scholars have discovered Greek text on the item that demonstrates its additional abilities to forecast eclipses, lunar phases, and sporting events like the Olympics. Pet cemetery. South of Lima, Peruvian anthropologist Sonia Guillen and her crew were excavating a 1,000-year-old cemetery. Still, they discovered more than just humans there. The inhabitants of the Chiribaya civilization, which existed before the Inca Empire, had interred 43 dogs there. The beloved llama herders' dogs were buried in separate plots next to their human owners, and many of them were covered with blankets and food. Guillen and her team attempted to establish a genetic link between the dogs and a popular contemporary breed known as the Chiribaya Shepherd because the desert environment preserved the dogs' bodies. Medieval maternity. A woman in the Italian town of Imola passed away a few weeks before giving birth some 1,300 years ago. Her fetal skeleton was found between her legs, making her a rare case of coffin birth, in which a pregnant woman's body gases build up and force the fetus through the delivery canal. However, another peculiar discovery has experts more intrigued. The mother had a little hole made in her skull before she passed away. Trepanation, the practice of creating such a hole, has been used historically and internationally to heal head injuries, headaches, and potentially evil spirits. Researchers are unsure if she had preeclampsia or eclampsia in this case, pregnancy-related illnesses marked by extremely high blood pressure and perhaps seizures. Göbekli Tepe. Hunter-gatherers continued to be nomadic during the end of the Stone Age more than 11,000 years ago. They had yet to adapt to the agricultural lifestyle that served as the foundation for our modern cities and towns. However, this Turkish archaeological site has raised questions about the time frame because it contains numerous rectangular rooms, massive pillars with animal decorations, and stone rings. Many academics believe it may be a religious complex, and it may be the oldest known piece of construction in the entire globe. Surprises in Egypt. The strangest items discovered during an excavation occasionally originate from the archaeologists themselves. Professor of Egyptology and head of the Harvard Semitic Museum, Peter Dermenwelian, remembered through email how Dowse Dunham, one of his Harvard predecessors, tried to con renowned Egyptologist George Reisner, who oversaw many of the most fruitful pyramid excavations. To see if Reisner would be perplexed, Dunham threw a bronze Roman coin he had recently purchased from an antique store in Cairo into a burial chamber to be excavated in 1914. It wasn't successful, because as soon as the items from the chamber were organized, Reisner realized his apprentice had hidden the coin. That is all for this video. We will be back soon with another informative video. Don't forget to like and share this video. Until next time!